Hello viewers. It feels awesome to be with you on another session of your favorite show, Voices with Claire. I hope you had fun on the other session, and of course we look forward to giving you more information on the session today. But guess what? Before we go into introducing the topic and the person we have in the house today, I would like us to take a very short break. Do not go anywhere. Grab your pen and paper, and we will be right back. Welcome back, beautiful people. On set today, we have a guru. This is a mighty man. It's someone I'm really excited to have in the house, and I will go ahead and introduce him to you. Can you all help me welcome Mr. Didier? Hi, Mr. Didier.
Hello, Clarice.
It's nice to have you.
A pleasure.
Thank you so much. So guys, we will be talking today about entrepreneurship. Many of us do not understand what that means. We hear the word all the time. We talk about it, we mention it, but do we really know what it means? So today we'll have a couple of questions from Mr. Didier to clarify us on this topic. So, sir, who is an entrepreneur?
Let me start by defining what entrepreneurship is. Well, an entrepreneur is someone who conceives an idea and takes that idea to fruition by putting a plan. So entrepreneurs are innovators. They start businesses with the sole purpose of meeting specific needs of society. There are different types of entrepreneurs, right? I will pick just four. I'll talk about four of them. We have small businesses. For example, your mom and pop shops, your grocery store owners, beauty salon owners. Those are entrepreneurs. But they are small businesses because most often they don't look at growing their business beyond owning a single shop. They don't think of franchising that business.
Right.
And typically they fund their operations by their savings, or they might get small business loans from banks. So the extent of growth with them is limited. Then next you talk about large company entrepreneurs. So for example, you have an existing company. Say for example, let's take Amazon for example. Amazon, a couple of years back, all Amazon was doing was e-commerce, right? So they would sell stuff on their website, and they would deliver the stuff through companies like FedEx, UPS. But now Amazon, they realized, hey, we can make more money delivering the stuff ourselves. So now you see large company entrepreneurship where they are looking at new business ventures cropping up within what they are doing. And they say, okay, let's create Amazon Prime, which is about what? Delivery. Right? So that is large company entrepreneurship. You bring in new streams of income into an existing business. Then you have scalable startups. So if you look at most IT companies, they start up as garage-based companies. Look at a company like Apple, Microsoft. They started in somebody's garage, right? But when these guys, they start these companies, they have a vision that this company is going to change the world. And they look for venture capitalists. So venture capitalists are those who have deep pockets, who are willing to fund startups, viable startups. So with these scalable startups, within a short time, you see them explode. Facebook is an example of a scalable startup. It started up as a university project. You have Microsoft started up in the garage, right? Bill Gates' garage. You have Apple. Those are all scalable startups. But you also have what they call social entrepreneurship, which is what I happen to be. But when you look at social entrepreneurship, right, the main objective is to bring about social change within society. So you bring about change within a community where you identify, right? And in this case, social change comes before income generation or gone before profit. So in my specific case, we started training, IT training, IT consulting, but mostly training. But what drove us into training? If you look at the information technology sector today, within the US and globally, you will realize Africans, African Americans, these are a huge minority within this sector. But it's a very, very lucrative sector. So why should we be left out of this? And the financial rewards from this sector are huge. And then when you look at our let's say, these minority communities, financially, there is a big gulf, financial gulf, between us and the Caucasian community and the Asian American community. So putting all this together, when we started this training, it was bigger, the whole idea was bigger than just making a profit. The whole premise of the business was about how do we make little changes that would help bridge this gap between the African American, the African communities, and our Caucasian and Asian counterparts. And we used information technology, IT, which is what I practice. I saw that as, okay, this is a way we can use to bridge that gap, right? So that's how I got into training, right? So it's more about bringing about social change within our community.
Okay. So how long have you been an entrepreneur?
I've been an entrepreneur from childhood, right? I grew up in Cameroon, and during my early childhood, what really instilled this quest for entrepreneurship in me was, I would say, my mom. When I was young, I wouldn't say I was from a very not well-to-do family, but one thing that mom did was, during summer vacations, when we hung around doing nothing, mom would force me and some of my siblings, we have to sell what we used to call beignets. We have to literally sell beignets in the village, right? So that was when I was like 12 years old. So that kind of instilled that interest in business, in being an entrepreneur, resolving societal issues. Right.
Okay. But have you been an entrepreneur all your life, or have you worked for people before?
Up to now, I still work for people, right? Okay. But what I've done is I combine my dream with working for people. Because most cases, what happens is, if you don't have the resources to go on your own solo, right? You have to work for people, and then you use the resources to invest in your dream, and which is what I've done. Up to now, I still do that. Okay. Yeah, but I do that within the field, within IT. So sometimes I usually work as consultant. So I work as consultant. You hire my company, I work as a consultant for you, but you're still working for somebody.
That's right. So to you, being someone who has worked for people and you're an entrepreneur, what are the advantages of being an entrepreneur?
First off, I would say being an entrepreneur, it's, to me, it's emotionally very satisfying when you start achieving your goals. Right. And it's very rewarding financially when you start achieving your goals. But let's say in our specific case, right, we are more about bringing change within our society, right? Financial change, bridging that IT gap. And let's say this is not the first business I've started, but this one started in 2016. And from 2016 up to date, we've trained over 500 students. Okay. Yeah, and I would say about 300 of our students over 50% of our students are already in the industry, right?
Wow.
So when I look at success, I don't look at success in terms of how much profit our company makes. That's not my first indicator of success. My first indicator of success is how much do we contribute into the African American community as a result of our efforts. And this is a goal. This is a goal that I have. My goal is in the next 10 years, I should have trained and put into the workforce over 10,000 African Americans, so minority population. That's my goal. And if I succeed in that, right? If I succeed in having 10,000 students trained and working, averagely, the average IT salary is about $100,000 a year. So if you multiply 100,000 by 10,000, we are talking close to $10 billion, right? So it would be satisfying for me to say annually, as a result of my efforts, I am contributing 10,000 or $10 billion into the minority economy. That is more rewarding to me than saying, oh, we are making a $20 million profit a year.
That's right.
So it all depends, what are your goals and are you meeting your goals?
Empowering people, I must say, it's one of the most self-satisfying thing in life.
That's right.
I really must recommend you for that.
Right.
So why do you think people scare away from becoming entrepreneurs?
Well, there is the risk, right? And entrepreneurship is about overcoming your risk, or overcoming your fears, and that involves risk. So when you come up with an idea, typically you have to fund that idea, right? You have to fund it. So it takes financial resources, and if you are really involved in the venture, it takes away time from your family, financial resources, it's emotionally really draining. You're mentally draining, and if you're not strong enough, most people will give up. It's not a one-day. It's not a one-day success thing. It takes time, and you have to be patient.
Right.
Most people don't have that patience. They want fast money,
Mm-hmm.
and in this, let's say in my line of business, there is no fast money. If you want fast money, well, I wouldn't say fast money. $100,000 a year as salary, it's comfortable, right? Yeah, it's comfortable. So you could live with that and you relax. But if that is not your vision, to me that is minuscule compared to the impact that I can put in a society, right? And the way I look at it is, this is just the beginning, right? If let's assume we have about 100 more people like Metropolitan. The company is Metropolitan. Let's say we have 100 other companies doing what we do, and within the next 10 years, we are able to put 1 million minorities into the workforce, right? Through our efforts. That is massive. That is massive. And I would say, being in the business of empowering, I would want to partner or encourage other companies who can harness this massive influx of financial resources that will be coming into our community to further enhance that growth, right? We need to start thinking beyond how much I make. We need to start thinking about generational wealth for our community, right? That should be the goal. If we can bring in $10 billion, $20 billion as a result of our effort into minority communities, what stops us from resolving other problems? Because remember, entrepreneurship is about identifying problems and coming up with solutions for those problems, right? And very often you hear about, let's say in this society where we live, for a black person to get a loan in the bank is so difficult. They will give your interest rates are so high. So if 10 years from now, we as a result of this effort, we are generating billions of dollars into our society. What stops us from harnessing all these people we've trained and set up our own banks? Set up our banks and give ourselves interest rates comparable to what the other, what other people get, what the Caucasians get. What stops you from doing that? So let's not, it's not about us complaining. We have to do something about
That's
it.
right.
And this, I believe this is the beginning.
Okay. When you talk about IT, there should be more than just a computer and maybe just a keyboard and a mouse. But many of us do not really know what it means. Can you enlighten us a little more and tell us what Metropole Tech, right? That's the name.
Metropole.
What Metropole Tech is doing.
Okay. So when you talk about IT basically is information technology. So if you look at those two words, it defines it right. You have information and technology. So it's basically using technology to produce, secure, transmit, and share information, right? So when you start talking about information technology, you talk about the use of computer systems, you talk about the use of network systems, voice, even the video, right?
That's right.
Talk about use of video. How do you create this? How do you create information? How do you transmit it? And then if you look at our world today, how do you secure this information? So it's very massive. And if you look at this whole term information technology, it permeates the entire society. So I'll take, for example, look at a small grocery store selling, let's say in the US, selling stuff to clients, right?
Right.
Most of them have credit card processing machines. They call them POS systems, right? These POS systems, they transmit data. So when you swipe your credit card, what happens? The POS system is connecting from that terminal, which is a hardware, to the bank, right? And it communicates to get information from the bank's database if there are enough funds on that credit card. If there are enough funds, it would let that purchase go through. So if you look at that transaction, that is, we are transmitting information, right? We are using information to solve, let's say, everyday problems. You look at in your industry, back in the day, for you to shoot a video and let's say distribute that video, you might have to do CD-ROMs and mail them. But look at today, what is happening today? You shoot your videos, you can upload them into, you have YouTube, that's a video sharing platform, right? And for you to upload, what do you need? You need network, right? And once you have it uploaded, YouTube has to secure that information. So when you look at that, that is all about using technology to create, transmit, secure information. And that is, if you look at the world today, it's an IT-driven world. So there is no way you would survive without getting involved in this. Either you are a user or you are part of this process. Yes, or consumer. So the question is, what was the second question?
I just wanted to understand what exactly Metropole Tech does. Like, when we talk of IT, we are kind of limited. Some of us do not really know what it,
Right.
So what exactly does Metropole do?
So our business, there are two main aspects of our business. The first aspect is the training, which is what we really hold at heart because we want to empower our community. Then the second part of business is the staffing, which is still related to our goal of empowering our people, right? If we can train you and we place you with companies, then we've done a full circle, right? But when it comes to training, what do we train at? Everything information technology. For example, some of the courses that we are offering now, we have what we call instructor-led courses where an instructor would guide you through that process. So we have courses like we train in database management, we train in cloud computing, we train in cyber security, we train in there are courses like CyberArk. CyberArk is mostly about privileged user account management. It's still security, right? We do project management, so Scrum, Agile. That's for the instructor led. But then we have a component of our training which is more, we call it self-paced. On that platform we have over 200 courses. And the way that works is you could think of anything, information technology, project management, from basic things like learning how to use word processor, Excel, anything you can think of. Not only IT, we even transcend IT. But what happens in that case is when you purchase a course from us, right? You have access. We have what we call a learning management system. On this LMS system, you have a video that has been shot by professionals within the field, right? And then, so you go through this video course. It's very meticulously put together. You go through the video course, and additionally, we have virtual labs, so associated with the courses. So, if let's say you buy an Oracle database course, it's first of all, it's going to be cheaper than the instructor-led because you'll be doing it on your own. So when you go, you have the video courses which will walk you through every chapter that you need to know. Then additionally, Oracle is very hands-on course. You need a lab. So which means you need to learn installation, you need to learn administration and all that. So within this lab, you have you actually generate a lab within the platform. Install your Oracle, do whatever you need to do. All the practice is done within that lab. You don't have to own a server. These are virtual cloud servers, right? And then additionally, as part of this course, you have assessments. So assessments are what gets you ready for your certification exam. So which means our training program, even if you do the self-paced program, it provides you end-to-end readiness to become a certified engineer in any IT field of your choosing, right? Then the other component is the staffing, which we are building that process now. It's almost to completion, but it's based on the premise that when we train our students, not only our students, any other minority engineer, IT professional who's out there, we need to help them get into the field, right? So this still comes within that broad goal of how do we empower our community. So it's not just about we train you, then we say, oh man, go fend for yourself. No, it has to be full circle. We want to train you. We are creating partnerships with several organizations. We are Oracle partner, we are IBM partner, we are partnerships with PwC, with other organizations. So we want to use ourselves as a funnel. We train and then we place our students.
So you're trying to look at sustainability.
Right.
Which is very good. What exactly what plans do you have for our people out there? Is it just like, are we limited to the white wall, or are we limited to this society, or do you have plans for Africa?
Yeah, especially with our self-paced platforms, we got into that because it's going to be cheaper. Say, for example, an Oracle instructor-led course will cost about $3,000. But a self-paced Oracle course, right, will be costing about maybe $150. So our goal is, within that overall acting goal of empowering minorities, empowering Africans, African Americans, we will be making serious strides engaging with Africa. So, right, we would like to partner with universities, with high schools, and then with the general society in Africa to provide these courses at very cheap prices, right? So the idea being, we want to start, Africa cannot be left behind. Yeah, we want to impart this knowledge, right? We want to impart this knowledge to Africa at a cost that they can afford. And then eventually, the good thing now is with the COVID, what COVID exposed was training does not have to be on site. You don't have to come to the office to work, right? So if you see a lot of IT certifications, that used to be, you needed to go to a testing site to do a certification. But now, with the internet, you can take your certifications anywhere. So you have those who will be monitoring you from wherever, right? So the idea now being, as we move to Africa, partner with these institutions, the question they will ask is, oh, how are we going to take our certifications? That is not a problem anymore. So long as you can pay for the certification fees and you have good internet, which is what the partnership will require, good internet. You can do your exams from anywhere in the world, right? So that is the first step. Get Africans into technology. Look at India. India is exporting a lot of IT professionals to the United States. A lot of US companies, they have remote sites in India, right? Why is that? Because they have the technical resources right there. But if you look at Africa, over 60% of the African population is youth. And what I've seen within the US is the Africans who come here, they adapt, get into technology, and they excel. What does that mean? It means if we introduce this and push it in Africa, most of these young people there who are hungry for knowledge, they will pick this up and we can get Africa to the same level as India. Why can't we start exporting IT professionals to the West? Why can't companies start using Africa to host some of their data sites or to provide support for some of their technologies? So it's a gradual process, right? But I think we can get there.
We will get there.
Yes, we have to get there. So, we need visionaries and people who look at entrepreneurship as being a need to change, to bring societal change, right? And there's a big problem. It's a glaring problem. There is a gulf in technology awareness in Africa, within the United States amongst African Americans, and our Caucasian and Asian counterparts. That's a big gulf, right? So why don't we start bridging that gulf? So that is what we are all about.
Wow. Thank you so much, Mr. Didier, so far for your time. And I will give you a very short break right now, but we still have a few more questions before you go. So viewers, I hope you have been picking up a lot so far, because this is a topic you don't want to joke with. I think we have worked for people so much. Maybe some of us have money at this time, we have enough funds, but we do not even know how to go about, starting up our businesses, becoming entrepreneurs. But we need more entrepreneurs in this society than we've ever done before. So we will be going on a very short break right now, but of course we will be right back to ask Mr. Didier more questions. Talk to you right after the break. Welcome back, my beautiful people. I am so excited because it's strange. I thought I was an entrepreneur, but I still did not know a lot. But right now, I have a lot, and I will be watching also to get more information after this, because trust me, while you're on set like this, you can't really pick up everything. But when you get back there and you watch, you pick up every little thing. So far, I know it's been an awesome time, and we will be asking more questions, Mr. Didier, to get the full information that we need. So I want to ask you this, it's kind of personal, but what is the most challenging part of your job? As an entrepreneur, what is the biggest challenge?
The biggest challenge is, to me, is scaling, right? So moving from one level to the next. Okay. Yeah, that is a challenge, in the sense that you have to let's say as you grow from maybe a one-man team or a two-man team, and you want to scale, you always want to make sure you bring in a team that believes in your dream, right? You have to bring in people who have the same goal aspirations as you. If you don't do that, there is a risk of failing. And I mean, you don't want to bring people and then have to fire them. You really don't want that, right? So you must have a cohesive team that is, that is goal oriented and and they believe in that vision. So that's one. And then the second aspect too is in the scaling process, it involves a lot of finance. Okay. Yeah, and if you don't have backing, let's say financial backing, then you have to look for ways of funding that growth process. And that could involve, it could really be hard. Maybe taking loans, you might need to mortgage some assets if you have them. If you don't have them, then it becomes hard. But for the most part, you put in what we call sweat capital, right? So you put in a lot of time that goes unpaid. And in my case, I'm lucky at this point. We are just about scaling, and I've been lucky to have a very solid team, and a team that is not asking for any financial reward. So none of us at this point we are being paid. So it's all about sweat capital. But I'll bet you we are putting in hours into the business, right? We maintain a consulting job. So the beauty of MPCI is part of what we bring is we bring in professionals who are in the field. So all my team members are professionals in their own right within the IT field. Okay. So we came together, or I brought them in not too long ago because I pushed the company to a certain point and I realized I couldn't do it. My dreams, I could not achieve them alone. So I brought in this team and they are now part of us, they're partners. And they bring in a lot of experience in their own right as IT professionals. But the beauty is, at this point of growth, they are not asking for financial rewards, but they are putting in so much sweat capital into the business because they have that vision. The vision is ahead. Right. Once we achieve our goal of meeting the societal needs, the empowerment, the money will come. There is no doubt about that. Yeah. So I would say the most difficult part is putting together a solid team, having the financial resources to scale, right? If you are at that stage of scaling, yeah, that to me it's difficult.
So to a young man or a young lady out there who wants to become an entrepreneur, what is your advice to them?
My advice is it's rewarding, right? It's a rewarding venture, but don't think the gains come very fast.
Overnight.
Yeah, they don't come overnight. So you have to put in the time, you have to work to put in the financial resources into your venture. You have to get a team that aspires have the same aspirations as you, so that you can move it together. If you bring a team that wants quick profits, then instead of you building for the future, you would take the meager earnings that you have that should be reinvested, and you pay people, right? But that doesn't mean you shouldn't pay people. What I'm saying is there are some people who have to be paid, but the core team, depending on the type of business you're setting up, maybe it's a corporation, it's a partnership, it's whatever. If you're looking for money, in my case, I want to scale. So at this point, I'm not looking at, okay, I want to make small profits, I want to scale. So I'm bringing in people who have that vision. So depending on their unique circumstances, you have to decide who to bring in. Even those you hire. If you hire the wrong people, they're going to run down your business. So you have to be careful whom you hire, whom you bring in as partners, and then you have to start small. Start small, learn the ropes, and then you scale. Don't start and you pump money into a venture that you don't understand, right? And my advice is usually get into an area that you understand, right? Get into an area that you understand, or you partner with somebody who understands the business you're trying to get into, right? If you try to jump into a business you don't understand it, you haven't done enough market research, it's bound to be a disaster.
That's
Right.
That's right. Thank you so much, Mr. Didier. I really appreciate your time, and honestly, this has been an awesome moment. I have learned a lot, and I'm really grateful. Thank you so very much, because we've come to the end of this session. But I plead that when next you are available, just give us another few minutes of your time. We will be appreciated.
Definitely. Anytime I'll be willing to talk with you. That's part of our, you have a unique role to play. I know I've talked to you outside the show, that especially us, those of us who have African roots, we need to start telling our story, right? Our story has been told by other people for far too long, and we know the outcome, right? It's a disaster. Most people in this society, they think we live in trees, right? But if you look at the perception now, Nigerian movies are coming on, people are like, whoa, is that in Africa? Yes, it's in Africa. I thought we lived on trees. No. So we have to tell our stories.
That's right.
If you let others do it for us. So you have a unique role to play. And I think what you're doing falls within this whole concept that I have, empowerment. We have to empower our people, right?
That's right.
So you have a unique role to play. And I'm glad to be part of the journey.
Thank you so much. I feel super blessed. Honestly, lately it's just been meeting one awesome person to the other, and the story, people, if I get to tell people how I got to meet you after knowing you like 25 years ago, oh my goodness, meeting you again, God just brought us together for a time like this, and I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
So viewers, I just want you to understand that this is where you want to be. If you need information on how to become an entrepreneur, I am coming to see him too, because I need more information to grow my business. So why don't you give it a try? Metropole Tech, it's where you need to be. If you need the information, of course, send us an email on voiceswithcla@gmail.com, and we'll always respond. If you need to ask any question, drop comments, remarks. We are here to hear from you, learn and answer your questions. Remember, like we always said, Voices with Cla is here because you are there. There's hope for the living, guys. Keep pushing. We love you so much. We'll leave you right now, but we are always with you. Have a great time, and God loves you. Bye.